Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Afi and I'm back again with another video. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first video, I hope you enjoyed. If you do, please give it a thumbs up towards the end. Yeah, and write down in the comments what you think about it. So as you can tell by the title, I am getting into a 6-month challenge and I'm recording this. I think this is the first week of the challenge, so I've just begun. But I just wanted to do initial thoughts and introduction to this challenge because I will be posting a little bit about it on YouTube. I'll be posting a lot of it on Instagram as well. Instagram will be mostly short form content, and then YouTube is going to be long form content, more like my feelings, my reflections. I'm going to do a little bit of like vlog type stuff. So all of that is in the works these next few months. So I'm very excited. So I'm just going to start with introducing what it is, just in case you don't follow me on Instagram, then you haven't seen this before. So this is 6 a.m. for 6 months, waking up at 6 a.m. for 6 months. That's how it's been described. The other description of it is becoming absolutely obsessed with being the best version of yourself. And this concept, I've adopted it from a YouTuber called Elizabeth Chu. And yeah, it's really cool. I saw this video maybe 2 months, 1.5 months ago, something like that, because I was in the mood of praying about like, what am I going to do when I'm done with Lent? Like, how am I going to continue to level up? How am I going to continue to grow? Like, what am I going to do for the next like quarter or like the next month? Like, I was kind of a little bit lost because the first quarter, as you can tell from the other video, was it was a very productive quarter. So I was kind of feeling like, oh, I'm gonna get into a slump. I don't want to be in a slump. What can I do? Then I happened upon this video and it has actually genuinely changed my life. So I'm very excited about it. So some of my goals personally are overcoming fear. So I'm going to go through the generic goals: overcoming fear, eliminating self-doubt, and challenging myself, as well as being vulnerable. One of the things that I really struggle with is vulnerability. And it's mostly, I actually have a video on vulnerability, which I am going to leave up here. You can check that out. But I have an issue with like being honest about how I feel. Most of the time, if you ask me how I am, I'll be like, yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. It doesn't actually matter what is going on. And even if I share something, like I'm very good at sharing like surface level stuff, and then also being like, oh, but it'll be fine, like brushing it off. So I think that's one of the things that I'm going to see if I'm going to be able to be open about, but definitely challenging myself in that area. So more specific goals that I want to just kind of like let you guys know about is I will be waking up between 5 a.m. 6:30 a.m. depending on what time I sleep. So the way my schedule works is sometimes I have to sleep later, sometimes I have to sleep at like midnight, or and I know people say like if you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. You need to sleep earlier, but the truth is that like my life is not set up in a way that I can do that. Sometimes there are commitments that I have that make it so that I need to sleep at midnight or I have to wake up at 5 a.m. And waking up at 5 a.m. is actually my choice. I actually want to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. So the only thing that I can move is the sleeping time, which with the other commitments, sometimes it's just impossible. But on a day like today, I'm going to sleep at 8 p.m. Like, okay, 9 p.m. I'm going to start unwinding actually right now. It's the beginning of the evening. I will start to unwind now so that I will be able to sleep early, which is so good for the waking up at 5 a.m. Yeah, and then the other thing that I want to do is solidify my routines, as I have rambled on for the past minute. My routine is kind of all over the place. I am still trying to figure out how I can be able to rest enough, but I'm also just getting like I'm accepting the fact that sometimes I'm just not going to be able to rest the way I think that I'm going to be able to rest, and that's okay. Like I can just let that go and just say, it's fine. This is the current situation, and that's okay. But yeah, I definitely want to solidify my morning routine, my evening routine, my reset routine, my faith routine, whatever routine that I can figure out to solidify. That is going to be happening in these 6 months. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah, I'm going to be filming like my morning routine, my evening routine, talking about my non-negotiables for those two routines, my reset routine and how I want that to look. I think for me, I've really learned that sometimes going by what other people's routines are doesn't really help. So what helps me is just jumping into it. So if I say, okay, I'm trying to figure out the morning, I come up with like a draft of what I'm going to do. So wake up in the morning, freshen up, go for a run, then while listening to a podcast, and then after that maybe journal, shower, breakfast, start work, something like that. And as I have been proceeding throughout this week, especially, I have found like this morning when I went for my run, I didn't want for the first thing that I like get into being like a random podcast. It still was like a random podcast, but I had that awareness of like, okay, maybe I need to change this up in my routine where it's like I wake up early and then instead of immediately going to run with a podcast, I could either sit down and journal or I could do a silent run and just kind of like use that run to think instead of like trying to get in information as the first thing in the morning. Like it's good to kind of like process before you allow things into your brain, your mind to cloud you and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all a work in progress, evening routine as well, all the routines, as well as how I'm going to be spending my weekends when I'm not working. So I guess if you don't know this about me, if you haven't seen other things, I work over the weekend because I do events. So at events, it's like 8 to 5, Saturday and Sunday. So whenever I don't have that, figuring out like what's a routine that is sustainable for me. Sometimes it'll include going to church, sometimes it'll not include going to church, but I just want to figure out like a sustainable rest weekend routine as well as like a reset type of situation. So I'm still deliberating about that, but by the end of this challenge, that's something that I want to have kind of figured out or like a good idea of it. And the last thing is I want to invest in my future self. So this has to do with master's applications. I think I mentioned it in another video. I think I mentioned in another video that I'm actually now in like thinking about doing my master's. So definitely want to spend the next 6 months solidifying that, making applications, trying to get in, see where I can get in, just things like that, looking for scholarships, all the jazz about that. And the other thing that I want to do is broadening my career options. So I have an idea of what I want to do in terms of like my own career. I love my job currently. Genuinely, I think that I'm forever going to be employed. I don't think that I'm ever like not going to be employed. But I also want to have something on the side, something that I do for myself, something that I will be building and growing, and just I'm very excited for what that could grow into. But for now, baby steps, little things, little things. And I definitely want to work on that and see how I can just do it because that has been something that like yeah. So I just want to do it. So next, I'm going to get into how I'm feeling now I'm feeling a lot of fear because all of this stuff that I'm trying to get to do, especially like the future, like investing in my future self stuff, like that stuff is very scary. Just thinking about like leaving the comfort of where I'm now and taking steps that are so uncomfortable, steps that I've never taken before. Honestly, like going to undergrad wasn't that complicated for me. The school was 5 minutes away from where I was living. I just went, I talked to them, and that was it. Like I did an interview, of course, I failed the first interview. I had to go and reseat the interview, and then after that, I got in and I started school like a couple of weeks later. So it wasn't really a very complicated process. Of course, it was kind of stressful to do the whole interview, and also the failing was, quite stressful. But I feel like I failed in other things as well, and I've had to just like redo them or whatever it is. So I'm not really somebody that hasn't failed before, but it's just the fear of like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work out? Now I'm here like talking about it on the internet, and what if it doesn't work out? And what if, all these things. So yeah, I have that fear, but I'm also very confident that I'm moving in my purpose. So I'm not going to stop. The other thing that I'm feeling is excitement. I'm so excited for my next chapter, for the next phase of my life. And I'm very excited for where I am now. I'm very grateful for where I am now. I love my current, like where I am now. I genuinely believe I should be. Like I have been placed where I should be right now. And I'm excited to see what my hard work can get me. What I want to feel by the end of this whole 6 months is I want to feel accomplished, and I want to develop mental toughness to get things done. I feel like one of the things about me, and nobody would say that I'm lazy. Like I'm not lazy. I get things done. I am productivity girly over on Instagram. But I think that I lack the practice to do hard things and actually hard things. Like for example, I can work and do a course at the same time and do all these things and like volunteer and many other things that I'm doing. I can do all of those things at the same time. But can I apply for masters? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a different kind of hard. And I just want to build my mental toughness. I want to build my trust in myself. I want to know that I can actually do this, and it for real is going to like come out. And I definitely want to take next steps into what my future is going to look like. I feel so happy about the dreams that I have, and as long as I'm in this in between, then I can continue to be happy about it. But I definitely want to yeah, put all of that into action and just like make it work. So that's basically everything for the 6 month challenge that I wanted to go through. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want, you can join me on the challenge. I think this video is going to go up a month into the challenge at this point, so I might fill in some clips of what the first month has looked like in terms of like the challenge and everything that I'm doing. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please join me if you'd like. Comment down below, thumbs up, just to encourage me on the 6 months. It's very scary, but it's also very exciting, and I'm so looking forward to it. So, and I've been preparing for this for like a month. I'm ready. I'm ready to get into it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.